What's up, Jake the Great? First one in. What's up, Nams? What's up, Helora? What's up, Gabriel? What's up, Maz? What's up, Alex? What's up, Idly Flying? What's up, P74? Satsang means to spend time together in pursuit of greater knowledge, in pursuit of greater wisdom, and that's what we're doing now. Hey, what's your favorite song? The one who said, "Your music is so good." I can't read your name. I'm not sure where the word satsang came from. I'll be right back, boys. What's up, Daxie? What's up, Jew Games? What's up, Eliminate Your Power? How's everyone feeling today? What's up, Toby? What's up, Cece? What's up, Brand Royals? What's up, Danielle Maiden? It's good to see you here. All right, everyone, we got 60 people up in here, right? This is a pretty sizable satsang. So we're gonna start it with some gentle breathing, and I want you to breathe into your heart. We're gonna breathe into our heart for a little bit. The heart is the gateway to heaven on earth. The heart is the gateway to heaven on earth. The heart is the gateway to heaven on earth. Yo, Dav, if you're saying heaven on earth sucks, then I don't think you're in heaven on earth. Get into the heart. Breathe into your heart. You'll know when you're there. El Librador, you said, how do you know things? Everything you need to know is revealed to you at the moment that you are ready to sustain the frequency. Everything you need to know is revealed to you when you are ready to sustain the frequency. Everything that you need to know will be revealed to you when you're ready to sustain the frequency. Yo, Anarchy, how am I supposed to smoke it? Teach me. All right, guys, you got any questions? Give me some questions. Gabriel said, how to stop overthinking. The first step is you become aware of the thoughts. Now, when you're thinking, it's a voice inside of your head. When you're in the awareness of the thinking, it appears that the voice is yours. You think that it is your voice that is speaking inside of your head. In reality, thoughts aren't yours. They're of you. Thoughts are of your soul and of your being. They come up and out of you, but they are not you. They are an echo, an emanation of you, okay? So when you become aware of the thoughts inside of your head, the moment you can make the distinguishment and realize, I am not the thought, that is the moment that you step out of the dimension of the thought, in which you can move up into the dimension of being, which resides in the heart. The heart is the gateway to heaven. The heart is the gateway to heaven. Heaven on earth, not ultimate heaven. There is many levels to heaven, but while you're a human, while you're on earth, the heart is the gateway to heaven on earth. I hope that answered the question. So let's do it again now. We're all going to breathe. We're all going to breathe, and we're going to focus our energy into our heart area. Welcome to heaven on earth. What is something that you practice daily to ground yourself to maintain consciousness? In a sense, it is maintaining consciousness, because you need to be grounded in order to be balanced, and consciousness needs to be balanced. The universe exists in a perpetual state of balance, okay? So by aligning your vehicle, your vessel, in a state of balance, you are also aligning yourself with the higher order, aka you are opening up possibility for evolution, possibility for new things to come out of it. So things that I would do to ground myself: take a cold shower, exercise, go for a run, do some calisthenics, lift some weights, breathe, do breath work, Wim Hof. Make sure you're eating healthy, unprocessed foods. Make sure you're spending time off of the internet. You can read a book, you can play an instrument, you can go for a walk. Just have some time to be grounded in the life itself. Emro says, does sexuality play a role in spirituality? It depends. How are you defining spirituality? Emro, what does the word spirituality mean specifically to you? Yo, appreciate it, Maxi. Yo, are you the guy who DM'd my dad on Instagram? You said spirituality is living the life, maintaining the mental garden. Okay. If you're saying that spirituality is life itself, is your life, is reality, then sexuality very much does play a role, because sexuality is a part of life. Sexuality is a function of life. In my own experience, the practice of semen retention, which is simply having a sense of control over your own urges and not releasing your sexual energy, has been the number one thing in my journey that has allowed me to ascend into new levels of awareness. If I was spilling my seed everywhere, if I was watching, you know what kind of video, I wouldn't have nearly the level of energy, and not only energy, but a stability of resonance. Because I maintain my frequency and because I'm not releasing my energy, my vessel is able to maintain certain frequencies that I wouldn't be able to otherwise. What do you do first thing in the morning? I usually don't do anything. Just kind of let myself wake up. I'll go outside, chill. I don't know. Drink some water. Nache Blaze said, Yeah, but everyone has to play out their karma via attachments and desire before they realize energy is the real currency. In these days, shit's all whack. Yeah, it's because we're in the Kali Yuga. It's actually pretty funny. The level of consciousness reflected in the comments is actually a direct reflection of where the collective consciousness is currently at. Now, there's a reason that I'm the person that you guys are looking at. There's a reason I'm the person that you guys are listening to, and you guys are commenting on this live. I'm kind of a beacon because I'm able to sustain certain frequencies that will help the collective shift into a more balanced and intelligent being. Jav said, how to stay in the present moment fully. My question is, how can you not be in the present moment? I don't think that's possible. Like, you're always in the present moment. Where are you going to go? The heart is the gateway to heaven on earth. Do you like to do anything before sleep? Not really. Yeah, Jav. Illuminate says, what's a good way to test if we are in our heart or ego? Not sure if I know the difference. So, what many people consider the ego is the thinking mind. But really, what is the ego? For me, the way I define ego is the identity of self. So you cannot escape ego. True ego, you cannot get out of it besides total union with God, which will happen eventually. But as long as you have your own sense of separation and sense of self, then you will have an ego. To know when you're in your heart, you just feel it. You can feel your heart in your body. You can feel the energy. You can feel how your awareness is interacting with the energy of your heart. I hope that answered your question. Do you believe retention is worth it? Yes. Semen retention is the number one thing that you can do in your life, pretty much. It's just the number one thing you can do, period. How to always be positive even when we are... Can you reiterate the question? Jackson said, how do you break out of stagnation? You need to create the spark.
Go to bed. I love you, bro.
I love you, man. To break out of stagnation, you need to ignite the spark. The initial movement is always a spark. This is a forcing fire. To break out of stagnation, you need to make the first move. You need to start the snowball that will then roll on its own, but something needs to start it, and that's you. That's how you break out of stagnation. Why is semen retention the number one thing we can do? Because if you preserve the energy, it will then be able to function within the vessel in other ways. The sexual energy is the fundamental force of life. You preserve your energy, and that energy, you now have it, because if you are releasing the energy, you have no energy. Therefore, you have nothing to work with. If you preserve the energy, you then have a medium, not a medium, you have a currency that is energy that is flowing throughout your system. That can awaken you and rise your awareness into levels that previously were unknown because you were so busy releasing your energy, indulging in your desires, indulging in the lower self. The lower self is not bad. The higher self is not good. They're simply functions of a larger being. So we don't villainize desire, and we also don't put anything on a pedestal besides balance and love, the heart. If there's one thing you're going to put on a pedestal, it needs to be pure love, pure heart energy. Because this is the only part of the ego structure that is truly in alignment and balance with the greater universe. The heart-centered awareness is in perfect balance and perfect alignment with the universe. That is why it's the place you want to be. It's also the most peaceful, most blissful, and most enjoyable place that you can be, is in the heart. Thanks, T-Bone. Satsang means coming together in pursuit of truth or in recognition of truth. We're coming together in pursuit of the truth. What do you think about life after death? You don't know it till you're there. What is the key to discipline? Awareness. If you can be aware enough of your own self and of your own actions, then you will have the capacity to have discipline. Whereas if you lack awareness, essentially what will happen is the lower self will be controlling itself perpetually. The desire machine, the physical body, the emotional body, these things will control themselves if you lack awareness. If you can be aware of it, then you can control it. What is Kundalini? Kundalini is a function within the system of transporting life energy into different centers. So how Kundalini works is, say you do semen retention. Kundalini is the function of how that sexual energy moves from the sacral chakra into the heart chakra. The key of semen retention is moving your energy from the sexual organ region into the heart area. Now, this might sound pointless, and you might wonder, why do you want the energy inside of your heart instead of in your lower region? Is because it changes your awareness. Your overall awareness will shift, and you will start seeing things from new perspectives, perspectives that previously you were completely blocked off from. This is what the Kundalini does. Yeah, it's okay to do that, Jay. It's just good you have balance, overall balance. That's what matters. Like, I'm not saying you always need to be in the heart chakra. All I'm saying is that that's where you want to be most of the time. It's okay to go into lower awareness, and it's okay to go into higher awareness, but you want to have balance. That's the key. What are the benefits of retention? I'll say this. The benefits of retention and discipline, aka having control over your sexual energy, the benefit is something that you cannot imagine. Until you experience it, you cannot imagine. That's all I'll say. And you get there when you're ready. Emro said, can you explain your philosophy of the phrase, everything is perfect? What I mean when I say that is that the actual structure of the universe and of reality itself is a perfect system, which means it is alive, self-reproducing, and it doesn't have the risk of collapse due to systems in place to anything that's out of balance, it'll fall off. Anything that is out of balance with the greater scheme will collapse, and the growth will continue from a balanced point. Life is perfect because it's perfectly balanced. Everything happens at the exact perfect time. Everything happens for a specific reason. Now, the thing is, we have different levels of awareness throughout the journey. So you will not see the divine perfection until you complete the cycle. When you complete the cycle, it'll become clear that everything happened exactly as it was meant to happen. But while you are still in lower awareness, you will lack the capacity to understand the divine perfection. Yasmin said, a tip to start meditating. Meditation is the act of gaining awareness. Awareness is the perception of that which is within your experience. Meditation is simply becoming aware of that which you are currently experiencing. And from that point, you can let go and relax into the heart chakra. When you relax into the heart chakra, you will feel completely at peace. When you feel completely at peace, you keep relaxing from that point. And that is when what they call it a download. What is a download? Essentially, a download is when your deeper soul, or you could say God, is transferring information to the localized consciousness, aka your present awareness. So when you meditate, you enter the heart chakra, you become relaxed. From that point, you just chill. It's not with a goal. It's not with the goal to receive a download. The download is simply a byproduct of the natural state. The goal is the natural state. The goal is to feel the peace. The peace is found in the heart chakra through awareness. This will happen naturally. What if your heart is closed off because of emotional pain? You got to work through that. And you have to confront the pain, feel the pain, and from that point, the pain will transmute into something positive. Push said, I'm in 1 month of retention and I'm struggling. I feel like I have spiritual signs, like I see hawks every day, but nothing physical has really changed. Any input? Okay, here's the key. You said nothing physical has changed. The physical will always be the physical. What's going to change is the awareness beyond the physical. Awareness itself is not limited to any specific dimension. That means the physical will still exist as it is, but you will have access to levels of awareness beyond the physical, which you may already have without even realizing. It's just that the physical is so dense and so distracting that you only notice it. You aren't noticing the finer, more abstract levels to your awareness because of the physical. When you do semen retention, you are not changing the physical. You are changing the awareness that then transcends the physical. Does that make sense? Seraphim said, we see with our eyes, right? Actually, I don't even know what to say about that. Never mind. Jackson said, what do you think about this order of mastery? Body, mind, and then spirit? That is essentially a rough outline of the objective ascent. That is following the pathway through the different levels of awareness, just in a very rudimentary form, but accurate nonetheless. So I would say the body, then the mind, then the spirit. I would say that is a good roadmap for you for now. Push said, opinions on tarot and oracle. They can be extremely powerful tools, and they can also lead to illusion depending how you approach it. What level of awareness you approach tarot and oracle is directly how powerful it is and how accurate it is. If you approach tarot from a very low point of awareness, then you will receive a very low outcome, if that makes sense, and vice versa. Seraphim, that is exactly what it is. And that's exactly what my purpose is. Spencer says, does consciousness come from the brain? No. But the brain is a vessel for consciousness. You understand? The awareness itself is not created by the brain, or it is created by the brain. But that doesn't mean there isn't awareness outside of the brain, if that makes sense. It's like a seed, right? You plant a seed in the ground, and a tree comes out of it. There is a tree there, and you could say that the tree is the tree, but that doesn't discount the fact that a tree came before the seed. So to say that the brain creates consciousness is like saying the seed created itself. No, something created the brain, and then the brain created the consciousness. Velen said, is spiritual peace just death? And can you be alive and have peace? The first thing to understand about death is that death is essentially a transformation or a transition of consciousness. It's a transition of that which the consciousness is currently perceiving. So there really is no death to actual consciousness. You can 100% be alive, have a human body, and you can fully be at peace. You can fully be in a state of peace and a state of contentment while you have a human body. This is what I call heaven on earth, and it is the balanced experience which occurs in the heart chakra. You want to localize your awareness into the heart chakra. It is from this point that you will feel inner peace, which is actually in a direct alignment with the same peace that you would be feeling outside of a body. It is the state of balance. The state of balance is equivalent to the state of peace. So no, you do not need to die. You don't need to, your consciousness doesn't need to go anywhere other than the heart chakra. Through the heart chakra, you will feel the peace and you will no longer be seeking. This is what peace is it's not seeking, and it's really also not necessarily giving. It's just objective awareness. It's just being aware of being aware and being aware. And the awareness itself is the peace. You don't need anything. You don't desire anything. You simply exist as awareness in a state of balance, in a state of peace. And the way to do that is through your heart chakra. I hope that answered your question. Karina, it looks like I'm reading something, but I'm not. I get this, if I look at my phone while I talk, then I'll get distracted and I won't be able to channel the truth. But if I look away, then I'm able to channel. Emro said, thoughts on the view that everything possesses some degree of consciousness? Yes, but I'd flip that on its head and I would say consciousness possesses everything. Does that make sense? It's not that everything possesses consciousness, it's that consciousness possesses everything. All right, chat, we're going to do it again for the third time, which is the lucky number. We're going to breathe into the heart chakra. Carlos said, tell us what the heart wants. What does it want? I don't think the heart really wants anything. And that's what makes it so pure and so beautiful. It simply exists. It simply is. It doesn't want anything. Kemma said, in my material world, it does not change. Is it possible to be abundant? Thanks, Ryan. There is an order of events within consciousness. And what that means is that certain levels affect the other levels. So what I mean by that is there's a cause and then a reaction. The physical realm is not the realm of causation, it is a reactionary realm. What that means is that the physical realm itself, it doesn't become abundant or become so-called unabundant or lacking. It doesn't do that on its own. It's a reaction to some higher force. So if you truly want to align to universal abundance, to universal truth, which then will have the cascading effect of abundance on all levels, including the physical, you have to go to the source. The closest portal that the human vessel has to the source is the heart chakra. So if you want physical abundance, stop focusing on the physical, focus on your heart chakra. It is from that point that the physical abundance will manifest. And all abundance, everything will manifest because it's the portal. The heart chakra is the highest portal that we have as a human vessel to universal intelligence. Not just universal force, not just universal energy, universal intelligence. The heart chakra is the portal to that. And that is what all the abundance will come from. Because what is abundance? Abundance is energy flow. Now, if it's the best portal to the highest energy flow, aka the most powerful energy flow, the most intelligent energy flow, that is by definition the most abundant resource that you have. Carlos said, "Are you saving yourself for marriage?" I don't know if I'll ever get married, to be honest. I might just be like celibate forever. Until I mean, if I find the right one, then I would, but I'm not really looking for it or anything. Yes, Seraphim, I'm glad you can, you know what they say, right? Those with eyes to see will see. Those with ears to hear will hear, right? Now, as the beacon of light, it is not your duty to insist or to force anybody to feel your energy. All you do is you simply resonate. You just keep resonating your frequency, and naturally anybody who resonates and who understands the deeper alignment of the truth, naturally they will resonate with you, and they'll hear the truth, and they will gain the wisdom that they're ready for. That's the whole thing about this whole thing, is that you only learn and you only gain access to that which you are truly ready. And when I mean ready, I mean ready. Like there's a levels to this game where you need to be ready to know the truth if you're going to have it. Those with eyes to see will see. Those with ears to hear will hear. The teacher appears when the student is ready, and the student appears... No, the teacher appears when the student is ready. The student appears when the teacher is ready. And vice versa. I don't know why I keep repeating it. The teacher appears when the student is ready, and the student appears when the teacher is ready. That's what I was trying to say. John said the truth. Isn't knowledge of truth constantly evolving? Knowledge of truth is consistently evolving until it reaches the end of the spiral. Truth is a spiral. Reality is a spiral. So when you reach the end of the circle, the cycle, you will have absolute truth because you have absolute comprehension and knowledge of what is. So truth is an objective thing. Truth is something that exists whether you want to think it does or not. Truth will continue to exist after you do, If you spend your whole life saying no, there's no truth, there's going to come a time where that truth reveals itself to you and you go, wow, I was so wrong. Like, there actually was something there. There was some truth, some higher intelligence. Yeah, John, thanks for the question. That was a good one. Yeah, John, you're right. It is math. Everything is math. And it's also, here's the thing about it too. It's all mathematical, but it's also linguistic. And well, math is a language, so of course it's all language. It's all math. It's stories, right? There's math, there's a mathematical aspect, and that's the mind. The area of the mind is what regards the mathematics. And the not actually, no, that's false. What I just said might not entirely be true. I said that wrong. All I meant to say is there's mathematical expressions of divinity, and then there is, and everything is mathematical. So actually, I was gonna say it can also be a story, like a story, a myth, a symbol. But I realized that also requires math. There could be no stories if there was no math. So, in a sense, the math is a story, and yeah, it is all mathematical. All right, guys, any final questions before I end the stream? Let's do some more heart breathing, and then I'll end the stream, and I'll see if there's any more questions. All right, guys. Okay, Jackson said, everything you say seems like ideas to me. Like, I don't fully understand or believe it's real, but at the same time, I sort of understand. Is it lack of experience? Yes. The thing with awareness is that at a certain point, you start to recognize what is truth and then what is a construct created by the mind. It becomes very, very obvious the things that resonate as truth are very, very different than the things that my mind just says. Like, just because my mind has some kind of idea, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a universal truth, but the awareness is what allows me to distinguish between what is an idea and what is actually the truth. And then it is from that point that I have to use my wisdom to discern which things do I say and which things do I keep to myself. Because the goal is to always be channeling the highest truth that you're capable of. This is what wisdom allows, and also knowledge. And it's a natural evolution. It's intelligence. It's like, imagine some intelligence system it needs to go through the process of evolution to become more intelligent. You are an intelligent system, and you also need to undergo the process of evolution in order to attain new levels of intelligence. So it is experience. Direct experience alone is the truth. Truth is something you experience. The words simply point to the experience. The words are not the truth necessarily, but if they're said in the right frequency, the word actually does resonate as a universal truth. It's all about the resonance, about where is it coming from. That's what's so important. Where is it coming from? Is this idea coming from my three-dimensional physical awareness? Is it coming from my emotion? Is it coming from my intellect? Is it coming from my soul? Is it coming from God? Now, here's the thing with when it comes from God, it becomes so automatic and so natural that it's very clear, yes, something is speaking through me right now. It's like, and the soul is the same to an extent. When the soul is speaking, it does happen naturally, but you kind of also understand where it's coming from in a way. You can feel where it's coming from. When God speaks through you, you don't know where it's coming from. It's just there. That's the mystery. That's why we have to respect the highest. We have to respect and have a reverence for that which came before us. If I were to say, yes, I know everything, therefore I'm God, that doesn't explain how I was created or what created me. What came before me? There's a certain humility and a certain humbleness you need to have where you say, I don't know where I came from. I don't know where I'm going. This is why we respect God and why we revere God, because God is an intelligence that we cannot comprehend. And yet it makes itself abundantly clear to us so often. It's so often God will just be right in front of you. So often, but you're so stuck in the awareness that you're used to that you don't even notice. You don't even notice what is right in front of you. This is what it's all about. The gaining awareness, the heart energy. I speak about this because that's what actually allows you to notice, when is it God? When am I experiencing God, and when is it something else? That's why it's so valuable. John said, is God the highest dimension, 10th or 11th, which encompasses anything? I'm going to refrain from claiming to know what God is. I hope that's an answer of its own. I'm going to refrain from claiming to know what God is. All right, guys. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Remember to stay balanced and try to focus on your heart energy and breathe, and everything will be okay. So have a good day, guys, and I hope you took some value from the stream.